Hey guys, this is Web Naruto's OP Neglected Part 2. Of course, it's the remastered version. I know I haven't uploaded in a very long time. I'm pretty sure it's been around 2 months, maybe even one, or for sure one actually. And I've been pretty busy with school lately, but I've been wanting to record a video for a while, and I think right now is probably the best time to record. In the next few weeks, I'm going to try to upload more, especially during summer. So expect new videos coming out at least once a week. Once summer break happens. I'm going to try to make it twice, but for sure at least once. If you end up enjoying this what if, then please subscribe and or like the video. It helps out the channel a lot. Also join my Discord where you can request what ifs. It's in the description. Other than that, let's get on with the what if. In the first part, I left off right when Kakashi told them about having to meet up in the fields for a test and also having to wake up really early. He also told them about for sure having to be there on time and make sure not to eat because they're going to throw up. And since Naruto at this point can already detect emotions due to his sensory ability, he was already able to tell that what Kakashi said was a lie. He would still wake up early in order to train, but he also ate something. Since he finished training earlier than usual, he grabbed a book and headed off to where he was supposed to meet up with everyone. When he got there, both Sasuke and Sakura looked like they're half asleep, while Naruto would look like normal Naruto. Once Kakashi eventually got there, he would see Sasuke and Sakura almost asleep and Naruto just sitting there reading a book. He would then explain the test by saying, "The test we are going to take is the bell test. It's simple." He would then point at the 2 bells hanging on his pants. "Grab one of these and you pass." Sakura would interrupt Kakashi by asking, "But there's only 2 bells. What about a third one?" And Kakashi would say, "Whoever doesn't get the bell gets sent back to the academy," which would put a shock face on everybody, even Naruto. But after thinking for a bit, Naruto would easily see the point of this test. And guys, remember, Naruto is extremely smart at this point. In my opinion, he would have already been a prodigy and OP if he had the right equipment growing up. But since he didn't, he wasn't really, too smart. And again, even though he's dumb when it comes to math and normal school work, he's a mini genius on the battlefield because of Ashura and Kurama teaching him. He would then ask Kakashi if he was allowed to strategize something with his teammates, which Kakashi would say no to, and he would respond by saying, "Think of them when we start," just to add a bit more of a challenge. Kakashi would say, "Come at me like you're trying to kill me." Then he would say, "Go." Naruto doesn't really want to beat up Kakashi by himself because he already knows this is a team effort challenge. He goes to Sasuke and asks him to help him in order to defeat Kakashi together, and even though Sasuke thinks this is a good idea and the easiest way to pass, he doesn't want to team up with Naruto because he still thinks that he's basically inferior to him. And Naruto can't convince Sasuke to fight, so there's really no chance that he's going to be able to convince Sakura to fight with him. He was going to rely on Sasuke for that part since he knows Sakura really likes Sasuke. So Naruto would instead decide to try to defeat Kakashi head on, instantly teleporting to him using the flying Raijin that he put on, or flying Raijin mark that he put on him. It's, the jutsu that Minato likes to use. He only knew this because of the scroll of seals that he stole in the last part. Kakashi would be surprised by this, but he would barely be able to dodge. Not without a scratch though. There would be a small scratch where a little bit of blood would leak out on his cheek. Naruto would kick the dirt, which would send dust and dirt flying at Kakashi, which would temporarily blind him for a bit. Naruto would then hit Kakashi over and over again, but Kakashi would only be able to dodge a few of these. He can sense that Kakashi was getting weaker and weaker with each punch, and Naruto would ask Kakashi, "Why don't you just use that dojutsu of yours?" Kakashi would be surprised that Naruto would be able to sense his Sharingan in his eyes. Or in his eye. Sasuke would be in the woods, so he wouldn't hear this. He would be fighting a Shadow Clone Jutsu of Kakashi, and Sakura would already be put under a Genjutsu. So Naruto would be the only one who can actually fight Kakashi, at least the real one. He could sense it was the real Kakashi, so he didn't have to worry. After fighting for a long time, Sasuke finally defeated Kakashi, just to realize it was actually a shadow clone. He then ran towards what he thought was a fight, and he was correct. He saw Kakashi, who was kind of beaten up and had dirt all over him, and Naruto, who didn't have a scratch on him. And to Sasuke's disbelief, he saw that Naruto was beating Kakashi, and looked as if he wasn't even trying. This also made him mad. Throughout the whole fight, Kakashi could only think, how is this kid so strong? He knew that Minato kicked him out, and he was actually sad about this because he always thought that Minato was a good person and that he was going to be a good parent once he was older and actually had Naruto and Menma. By the way, Minato and Kushina would have gone to see Menma's fight because his team also had a test. Not the bell test, but it still involved fighting, and Menma of course still ended up winning, and his parents celebrated him and paid no attention towards Naruto's fight and didn't even bother to show up. This didn't make Naruto mad or sad. He expected them not to come. No matter what, Naruto in the end ended up winning, with Naruto deciding that he was getting bored and he punched Kakashi in the stomach. Not too hard, but enough for him to be sent flying over Sasuke. Naruto would then grab one bell and Kakashi would get up after a minute or two and congratulate Naruto, and after that he would say that time's up. In his head, Kakashi would think, He looked like he wasn't even trying. What did Naruto do to get this strong? With one punch, I was turned into a bird. He would then get Sakura out of the genjutsu and gather them all, and tell Naruto that he passed. But there was another test before that, so that way maybe everybody can pass. But before that, they finally got to eat. Everyone except for Sakura got a dish of like food. And the reason for this is because she did nothing during the test, and she was tied up to a log instead of Naruto this time. Naruto wasn't even hungry since he already ate, and asked Sakura if he wanted or if she wanted his food. She would call him an idiot after this and say that he didn't want his disgusting food. And Naruto said, well, you're going to need the food for the next round. Chances are you're going to be hungry and just fail again. You're probably not going to do anything and just lie there on the ground like you just did. This would embarrass Sakura, but Sasuke would say, you're right, you're going to need to eat. And Sasuke would offer his food to her, and she would gladly take it, kind of irritating Naruto, but not that much. Naruto would only eat a small amount and give the rest to Sasuke. Then Kakashi would eventually come out of nowhere, and everyone except for Naruto would think at first that he was about to fail them, but to their surprise, he told all of them that they all passed, and then he gave the iconic speech about the Shinobi world. They would then start doing D-ranked missions for around 1 month, but after this, both Naruto and Sasuke would both get bored, and Naruto would ask Kakashi if he can ask the Hokage for a higher mission, which he ended up doing. And Minato, yes, Minato, he's still the Hokage, would at first not want them to go because he thought that Naruto would hold them back. But Kakashi would then say, I assure you that he will not hold us back. He hadn't told anyone about what happened yet because Naruto didn't want him to. And after a bit of convincing, he finally agreed. He had a person who wanted to be escorted back to his homeland, which was, of course, Tazuna. When he first came in, he would say, my life is in the hands of a few kids, and would start making fun of Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. Naruto would throw daggers at him. No, not literally, I'm talking about his eyes. Which would scare Tazuna a little bit, but Kakashi would just tell the three of them to go gather anything that they want to take with them since they're going outside the village. Naruto was actually pretty excited about this, and he went into his mindscape to talk about it to Kurama and Ashura. They would soon leave the village, and on the way there, Naruto would notice a few puddles up ahead, and thought it was a bit weird since there had been no rain or river or anything that could have brought this puddle. By using his sensory ability, he was able to detect two people. This time, when they both jumped at Kakashi, Naruto instead reacted, already expecting them, by using the Flying Raijin mark that was placed on Kakashi. He had already had one on him and all of his teammates. With this, he would kill one of them with ease and had their blood on his face, and he would wipe it off with a small smirk that would go away after a few seconds. He would then go towards the other guy who was already basically peeing his pants and would interrogate him. And after that, everybody would find out that this was actually a B-ranked mission, and Gato hired a few people to kill Tazuna. At first, Kakashi wanted to go back just to be safe, but Naruto convinced him that it was fine, and how he proved himself by taking out those two, which Kakashi would agree and would go on ahead. Later on, there would be a random wave of thick fog, which would catch Naruto's attention. He would then yell, watch out, and to duck. Naruto, instead of ducking, would jump over it and would see Zabuza, and the thing that was thrown at him was this huge sword, the executioner. Zabuza would then say, I'm surprised you were able to see me through the thick fog. Then Naruto would have thrown a kunai. After throwing it, he would punch the air, making the fog go away so everybody else can see. Zabuza would tell Naruto that he needs to work on his aim, and without saying anything, Naruto was gone. To Zabuza's surprise, he was right behind him. Smiling, Zabuza would jump down and get his sword back and then start fighting Kakashi. Naruto would decide to let him fight because he didn't want to waste his time. He could also send someone else nearby, so he wanted to also stay next to Tazuna just in case. After a while, Kakashi would end up being inside the water prison, and I forgot to mention that he also started using his Sharingan already, which Sasuke would be shocked at. Naruto would start to fight Zabuza, and he would tell Sasuke that there was someone else nearby and he seemed pretty strong, and to make sure that Tazuna doesn't get hurt. He would then run off to help Kakashi. He would start to fight him with ease, and Zabuza couldn't take any of Naruto's hits and release Kakashi out of the water prison. After Kakashi pulled out the Chidori in order to end an already awakened Zabuza due to Naruto, Haku would throw needles at his neck, which would kill him. Not really, but that's what it looked like. Haku would explain that he was an Anbu for another village and that he was sent out to kill or capture Zabuza, and how they actually helped a lot because he couldn't catch him. And Naruto could tell that he was lying, but he decided not to say anything. And yes, I know, sadly, Kakashi would be pretty tired, but not to the point where he passes out, but it feels as if he's about to. I mean, he did use the Chidori, his Sharingan, so he was pretty exhausted right after. And so Tasuna would actually offer them a place at their house, or at his house, while Kakashi can recover. When they got there, they were pretty tired from walking a lot, and because of everything that has happened. Everyone except for Naruto, of course. Kakashi the next day told him that he would train them a little bit. Naruto would ask if he can go train by himself. Then Kakashi would ask, do you at least know the basics? Which basically means just chakra control, like basic chakra control, which is also just walking on trees, walking on water and all that. Naruto would show Kakashi and he was impressed but not surprised. While out training, he ends up encountering Haku again, or like how he did in canon, where they would have a small conversation about someone they love and their purpose in life. And Haku would talk about protecting someone close to him. Naruto already knew it was Zabuza that he was talking about. After a while, Haku said that he needed to get going and Naruto would say, tell Zabuza I said hi. And Haku would turn around to face him again, but Naruto was gone. All he can think of was he knew and didn't say anything. Naruto would go farther into the woods in order to train. He then would ask Kurama about summonings. He has read about a few powerful ones that exist. Also, guys, if you guys hear like some sort of blender in the background, sorry, I'm pretty sure my mom is making something. By the way, Kurama would talk about the White Fox summoning. He had close ties to them a long time ago, and he's pretty sure they would accept Naruto. And Naruto would ask how to get there, and Kurama would tell him that it's pretty simple and only a few people actually knew how. All he needed was a scroll. Naruto would write something down that Kurama said to put down. It wasn't even like a normal language. Naruto had no idea what it meant, but he put chakra into it and it made kind of like a door / portal type of thing. Once inside, he would meet a ginormous white fox. It looked like the sun was shining down on it, and it soon spoke in an elegant type of way. What brings you here, young child? Naruto would tell it that it needs a powerful summoning, and Kurama would tell Naruto to tell the fox that Kurama sent him. She would say, you must be a special kid if he took a liking to you. How is he doing these days? And Naruto would explain that Kurama is sealed inside of him. If Kurama trusts you, I will make a summoning contract with you. It's him that you have to worry about. As soon as she said this, the ground would start shaking, and a slightly bigger fox came running. It was also, a white fox. Naruto would explain the same thing, and the fox would say that he would only make a contract with him if he was able to beat him in some sort of fight. And Naruto didn't go all out in this, but he was able to scare the fox pretty easily, enough for him to give in. He would also say that people called the both of them the Queen and Kings of Summoning. He would also say that the people called him the Queen and King of Summonings. Naruto would sign the contract with his blood. He noticed that only a few names were there previously. Naruto would soon leave this sort of dimension or wherever it's at, and when he got back, all he heard was yelling kind of close by, or pretty far away actually. He has pretty good ears. It sounded like some sort of fight. He used his sensory abilities to see where it's coming from and what's happening, and he found out it was coming from the bridge, and that his teammates were actually in trouble. And the main one that was basically screaming was Sakura. Sasuke was still fighting, and so was Kakashi. That's where I'm going to leave off for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when I upload. Also, again, don't forget to join my Discord, and also follow me on Twitch. It's RaidLT. If you're too lazy to go to the description, but if you're not, then as I just said, the link's in the description. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I got 3 thoughts in my dick. Bust down Gucci all on my fit. I tell my wrist, roll it in a strip. She like Ash Cash, only the tip.